Okay, today I'm with Kelly of the Arts Council of Southeast Missouri, and today we're going to talk about a variety of topics. They have lots of good events and topics to talk about, and then one of them is First Friday of the Arts. But first of all, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Cody.
Oh, you're welcome. One of the things that I wanted to get to early on, since I said it's been a couple years since I've had an interview about these topics, what is the main mission statement and the goal of your organization?
Well, the Arts Council wants to, just encourage diversity in the arts across the region. So we want to not only introduce people to a lot of different types of art, but we want to make sure that, all different types of people have access to the arts as well.
Absolutely. As I was telling you before we came on the air, the first thing that comes to my mind when it's art is painting and sculpture. Obviously, that's not always true. Music falls into that. So what type of arts do you have?
I mean, we do everything. We really encourage, all the types of arts. So there's public art, there's performing art, there's literary arts, and then there's visual arts. So our organization actually works in all of those sectors, and we have different programming for each of those.
That's very interesting to know. And I know a little bit about the different areas of art, but can you kind of talk briefly about what you guys have in all areas?
Sure. So if you look at public art, for example, we do the outdoor sculpture exhibition, which you'll see on the Broadway corridor, and you'll see usually there's like 7 or 8 sculptures, and then CMO also does a couple student sculptures. And then we just did a public art committee event with Malcolm McRae, who just did a mural on the riverfront. So that's kind of our public art sector. With literary arts, we do things with Poetry Out Loud, which is a national endowment of the National Endowment for the Arts program that we do for high school students. But we're kind of collaborating with Mia Pullman. She's doing a project this August kind of related to our First Friday with the Arts with some high school students called Here, and they're going to read their poetry, and everybody, that's open to the public as well. As far as performing arts, we work closely with The Edge and with Fingerprint Urban Dance Studio to, do different types of dance performances. We work with the university as well. So we have all kinds of things like that.
And public arts, I didn't know exactly what that was. So that was something that I learned about, and it was good to be educated on. But something that I notice in a lot of the articles that I read is First Friday of the Arts. Obviously, that's coming up in a couple weeks. I can't believe it's the end of July already.
I know, it's crazy. Summer's flying by.
Saying that, though, what do you have coming up for this month? And kind of a follow-up question to that is, does it vary the time of year?
Yeah, so every single month we have a different event that we do with First Friday of the Arts and for the arts. And so the idea behind First Friday is that we really want to highlight local galleries, local businesses, everything like that. So we encourage people to open up their businesses, maybe do, sort of special things for that night. For us, this month, we're going to be doing a quilt show, and that's really excited. It'll be juried by Dana Barton, who is with the National Quilt Museum in Kentucky. That was an idea that we got from our friend Nicole Cartmel, who's an amazing board member, and she just kind of came up with this cool idea for a quilt show. So we're going to do that, and then Marjorie Sweetacombe, she's going to have her quilts in the back, and we'll do some things with Mia Pullman students in our other gallery.
Wow, I've heard a lot about quilts, for the bicentennial. I don't know if that has anything to do with what we're talking about, but it's kind of good that we're doing something similar to that in the local area. And I mean this in all seriousness. I like to do a lot of fun things on Friday nights because it's the end of the work week. And do you guys kind of like to do that? Not only to showcase different things every month, but kind of just give people an opportunity to just kind of they've had a long work week.
Yeah,
So,
we have wine, and we want people to come out and enjoy art. That's the point, is that so much of the things that we love to do after our 9 to 5 are related to the arts. Whether it's you're going home and watching a movie, or whatever it is, so much of the things that we love involve art, although we don't always put it in those terms. And so I think Friday night is always a time to celebrate for us. So there's free wine. All kinds of fun people are out. There's all kinds of, good music downtown. So it is always a good time.
And, now that you say that, I agree 100%, because, I kind of look at it that way now that you mentioned that. And I never thought of it as art, so I learned something new there as well. But you brought up movies, and obviously that's a common Friday night thing. Have you ever thought about, or are you going to do that in the future, maybe just for a movie to kind of introduce people?
We actually do pop-up movie nights 4 Fridays in the summers.
And I've never really seen a movie outside the theater. And what does a movie in the park look like? Because I've never been there.
It is one of my all-time favorite movie experiences of the summer. So when I grew up in Chicago, that was something that the Chicago Public Park System did, and it was always one of my favorite things. So to come down here and to, be in the city of Cape, but also have those big city experiences is really, really fun. So usually people just bring out a blanket, they bring some chairs, they might have some snacks, and the kids are dressed in pajamas because it goes a little late. And the weather is beautiful. Last weekend we had the huge moon coming up from behind the screen, so it makes for a really beautiful setting. And I think it's just one of those summer things that every person can really enjoy, no matter how old you are.
I would agree with that, and I'm glad that I was able to bring up your favorite part of it, or at least one of your favorite parts.
Yes.
And glad that I was able to bring up some memories. And Chicago is actually one of the cities I'd like to visit. Maybe not now with all the violence that's going on there right now. But besides movies, since Cape Girardeau differs from Chicago just slightly, we'll say. What's your favorite part of the Arts Council?
I just love the fact that there's so many amazing people that we can collaborate with. We've had so many invaluable collaborations, whether it was with the city of Cape itself, or 20 North Pacific, or Discovery Playhouse, or Old Town Cape, or like I was saying, the Urban Dance Studio, Fingerprint Urban Dance. We've had so many opportunities to kind of create these really amazing events into being, and we're just trying to bring a little bit of the, of the life of Chicago to a space like Cape Girardeau, where you can do things like that on a small scale. You can do really cool, art events in a small space, and I feel like the impact is on the community is much larger.
Absolutely. And obviously Chicago is your hometown, so you want to bring that back. You kind of, I don't know if homesick's the right word, but you miss home. And have you done any research on different things that go on in cities that you kind of want to try to bring to Cape Girardeau? Because think about it, 113 miles away, we've got St. Louis. That would probably be a more Missouri theme.
Yep. And that's the thing is I love Chicago because that's my home. But since I've lived here, I probably go to St. Louis every 2 weeks, just because the art scene is thriving there. And so I pull, everywhere that I travel. This summer, I went to, Tulsa and Denver and Nashville and all these different places just to study what they're doing in their art scenes. So I'll pull, I take a lot of pictures and I'll pull those ideas back so that when we are collaborating with different organizations, that I kind of have an arsenal of ideas that might be able to be applied here, because I want it to work here. This isn't Chicago, and I don't think it should be. I think this is such a unique, wonderful place that has its own people and its own culture. And, I think that listening to what's going on here and modifying these ideas around what is happening here and what people want here is the most important thing.
Well, we want people from bigger cities to come and visit. In fact, we are the biggest metropolitan area in Southeast Missouri. I don't know if you knew that or not, but I know with you being the director, you're responsible for everything, or a bit of everything, I should say. But as you've been saying, you travel a lot, which is what you enjoy most about this job. But is it kind of your job to kind of travel around and let people know what's out there and kind of get an idea of what you want to bring back?
Yeah, I think, that's what I do on my own time because it's my passion. So I'm in school to be an art educator as well. I got another undergraduate degree in art and history. So, I'm so interested in the story of America. I'm so interested in the culture of what, American artists are creating. And so when I go on vacation, the first thing I want to do is go see public art or go see a concert or go see something, that reflects where that space is. But when I come back, I want to see how we might be able to do something like that, not using the same idea, but using those models here in KAPE to talk about who we are and to make this space really interesting.
Absolutely. And now that you bring up concerts, there's a lot of big name artists that obviously have concerts at the Show Me Center. But let's say you want to bring somebody that's not, they're popular, but they're less known. Do you want to try to do that at the Arts Council as well?
If we could get musicians here from outside of the region, I would like to get regional artists. I think there's this musician from Murray, Kentucky, that was just in Rolling Stone. Her name is S.G. Goodman, and she just wrote like this really awesome album. And, I feel like if we could get artists like that to just come over the river and play here, that would be the dream, So I would like to, I know Ebb and Flow has been attracting some St. Louis musicians. And they just had a 4-piece New Orleans band down here this weekend. So and Jason Heater's always playing the Grateful Dead and stuff. So there's a lot of opportunities for music. But if I could get some more regional, people to come in, that would be awesome.
I'll have to check those guys out because they're not as well known to me. But that's the point, that you want to try to make them well known. Maybe not multi-platinum, but you can pretty much see where I'm going with this. What is to get people to come and have different arts, what's the pitch that you're trying to put out there?
Well, I think there's something for everybody. At some point, something happens as we age where we stop playing and we stop creating and we just kind of stop doing things, and it becomes that we come home from work and just turn on the TV and have some dinner and go to bed. But I think most of our lives are lived in those hours. And so if we can start to give families and young people opportunities to participate meaningfully in the arts and to see things that interested them or to spark something inside somebody's imagination, we don't know what we can create. I think a lot of the images that we're seeing from around our country and from around the world are of destruction. And I'm a person who likes to be focused on creation, and that's what I think we bring to it, is just a spirit of positivity and the fact that we can create things into being.
Well, one of the things that I enjoy is I like to bring in my interviewees quarterly. Obviously, you guys got a lot coming up in the next 3 months. We've talked about First Friday of the Arts. We've talked about some of the musicians and movie night and different things like that. But would you be happy to come in and talk about First Friday of the Arts the last couple months? What's been going on and different things and things like that.
Yeah, we have like a. Are you just talking about like general events that we do? Yeah. So right now, a couple of the things that we've got 3 things coming up that we're super excited about. And the first of those is this project that we're doing on Fountain Street on the community garden down there. So we do this thing called Farming with Friends Fridays at 4. And it's like you're talking about, when you get off of work at the end of a long work week, a lot of people want to go somewhere, but not everybody wants to go out to a bar. So what we've done is we've partnered with Robert Harris, who is a master gardener. And he teaches us about farming, and we go out there and we do beautification projects. We do some painting. We do some really cool things. And then we learn about farming. On August 10th at Ebb and Flow, we are having a comic book release party for Thomas Shaner's Adventures of Pizza Dog. And what that is about is Thomas Shaner has autism spectrum disorder. Mm-hmm. And I talked to Thomas a lot about ableism in art, which is like, just whether people with disabilities are being fairly represented in the arts. And that's something that's become really important to us. And so through these conversations with Thomas, we got together some writers and we wrote a comic book. And the proceeds will go from the book will go not only to Thomas to support artists with disabilities, but also to the creation of our in-house art studio, which is called the Collab Lab, which is for kids with sensory disabilities. So we're trying to just create a space where all people can come in and have meaningful access to the arts.
We've talked about a lot, but is there anything else that you want to discuss here in closing?
Yeah, we've got, other than that, we've got a few exciting events coming up. We have our Dingle Dine Awards, which is just like a celebration of arts in the community. So that will be in September. And that's kind of a fun 1920s party. And then, fortunately, this year, we are going to be having our craft fair again at the Osage Center and at the Show Me Center in November. And that's our biggest event of the year. Everybody looks forward to the Christmas craft fair and extravaganza. So that will be back.
Hopefully, like I said, we'll be in again, or I'll have you in again in a few months, and we can talk about it again. Thanks for taking the time, and you're more than welcome about coming in and getting the word out about everything. And I can't wait to hear about some of this other stuff that's going on here in a couple months.
Awesome, Cody. Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.